have you ever felt like you just don't quite fit in or that you haven't found your close friends or your tribe? Friend, you have no idea what amazing things can await for you in college and the amazing experiences that await for you. Our guest for today will share with you that and so much more about her own career journey. Welcome to the College and Career Ready podcast, your go to resource for all things related to preparing our students for success in their college and career journey. My name is Sonia Cacique, and I will be your host and guide on this exciting journey towards a bright future. Our mission is simple to empower our parents and students by elevating their confidence and resourcefulness. We believe that you deserve all the tools and support necessary to open the doors to endless possibilities of success. And with our community, you don't have to do this alone. So come with me and let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the College and Career Ready podcast. On today's episode, we have a student spotlight as our guest. Her name is Sarah Hensley, and she is a current student athlete at Sam Houston State University. She is majoring in communication studies, a bachelor's of science with a minor in business, and plans to get her MBA after her undergraduate degree. She is a driven individual who is the CEO of two nonprofit foundations, Godly Leader and Treasure Heart Foundation. After college, Sarah plans to go into her foundations full time and open up church camps around the United States. She feels a call on her life to become an influential speaker and follow God's calling. I'm so excited to have her share her journey with us. So, without further ado, welcome, Sarah. Welcome to the College and Career Ready podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want you to start off by introducing yourself to our audience. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sarah, and about your career journey.
My name is Sarah Hensley, like Miss Sonia said, and I am going into my junior year at San Houston State. I actually am in the process of undergoing a transfer. And so I have attended Southeastern University, which is a private Christian college in Lakeland, Florida. And I am so excited to follow the Lord's call in my life to go to Sam Houston and share his word. And I run cross country and track. And so, yes, I am a student athlete and I love what I do. And I'm really excited. I'll be 20 in April. And I am just learning and growing every step of the way.
Super. And tell me about your career plan. So, what is your career goal right now?
After college, I want to get my MBA, and that is to help me further the nonprofits that I have and that I run right now as CEO. They are in their launching stages, so I do plan to go as a CEO after college. I want to go more into working and getting them out of the launching stages so that we can reach more people. And I would love to be an influential speaker. So, Sadie Roberson, she is a big time Christian influencer and a speaker, preacher all over the world. And she is somebody that I look up to a lot. And I would love to be like her in a sense and speak all over the world, speak in church camps that I open through a foundation. And I would just really love to show people Jesus through me. And I know that's a cliche, like Christian saying, but I really do want to be the light of the world. And if I can do that through speaking, which I do feel is a gift of mine, then I want to do that with my life.
I love that. So, how did you come about deciding that this was your calling?
So I actually did not plan on doing this at all until about junior year of high school, halfway through. So maybe December of 2021, I think, or 2020. And it was before then that I wanted to be an interior designer and I wanted to be an event planner for weddings. And I actually am a really big planner. And so I had this dream and this goal of being this interior designer and event planner from sixth grade all the way through 11th grade. And I have done nonprofit work before 11th grade. And I became a young CEO at 16 years old. And so we got our 501(c)(3) for my 16th birthday. That was my present. And
Oh,
so I did have the nonprofits under my belt, but that wasn't my plan to do full time. But when me and my mom were talking in the car one day about my plans and what I wanted to be when I grew up, she was picking at me because sometimes I see blue instead of purple. And so I mix up colors. And she's like, "How are you going to be an interior designer if you don't know these colors?" And she was just poking fun at me. And she's like, "Do you really want to do this?" And she said, "What about your nonprofits?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to do that too." And I just started to think about it a little bit more. And I realized that my passion was helping people and not in the way of designing their homes, but really helping build up their lives and inspire them to become greater versions of themselves. And I do have a gift in leadership, and that's something that can be displayed more through nonprofit work than it can. Not saying that interior designers cannot do that, but I do believe that the giftings that I have are more suitable for nonprofit and CEO work and influential speaking route. And so I just really started to think about it. And then I changed my mind to do what I just said that I wanted to do with my life. And I'm not sure yet how everything is going to unfold, but I'm really excited to find out.
I love that you are honest to say that you're waiting to see how things unfold. A career journey, a lot of people believe in actually it probably used to be pretty linear. And now it's not linear at all. It takes a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and you kind of just have to go with the journey. So I appreciate you sharing that. Let me go back to your gifts because you mentioned, your leadership gifts and your other gifts that you have. How did you discover that? What do you think played a role in identifying what your individual God-given gifts are?
So, as you can probably tell, I am really strong in my faith and I love learning things about the Lord and what He's given me. And I believe gifts are in everyone. And of course, we have all different gifts. It says that in the Bible, and it says that just in corporate world in general, just everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And so through my church, I took a spiritual gift test, is what we call it. And in short, what that means is just we believe as Christians that everybody's given a gift by God. And so some of those gifts might be administration, which is one of my highest. And that one is simply like putting things together, organizing, planning, just being diligent in organization and administration tasks. And that would be why I wanted to be an event planner because I love doing that kind of stuff. The spiritual gift testing, which you can find online. But that is something that I took through my church. And so it gave me a bulleted list of here's the highest that you've scored, and here are the gifts for those scores. And so, like leadership, yes, and administration, yes. But even before I took that, which was in college, which is the first time I took that, I think everyone, I think, can identify what their strengths and weaknesses are. When people go in for job interviews, you always get asked, "Oh, what is your strength? What is your weakness?" And I think naturally through my personality, my mom says that I can be like a natural leader. And so things that people say, "Oh, you're really good at drawing. Oh, you're really good at singing," like things that I hear people say about other people, I would determine, "Oh, that's your gift. You're really good at singing. That's amazing. Let's glorify the Lord through worship and praise." I am not good at singing, but
Mm.
in group projects in like fifth grade, I would naturally take over and try to lead people. And so just kind of being able to take a step back from the projects that you're given and being able to recognize, okay, this is kind of what I naturally revert to. And that can go negative as well, like naturally reverting to negativity or lashing out against people. But I would say spiritual gifts are more so on the positive side and what you naturally lean to and what helps other people grow.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like a lot of students, a lot of young teens, those gifts are kind of either tucked away or not seen clearly as most parents or themselves used to see it because they start hearing other people comment about, their work and their performance. And some of those gifts are identified, honestly, mostly at a very early age. And you just have to go back in time and just think about those things that used to interest you before you start getting all the social media influence and all the influence from peers and academics, etc. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I definitely would. I think social media plays such a big role in just comparison and trying to find gifts by comparing to other people's gifts, and I don't think that that's the right way to do anything.
I liked how you went back also to speaking to your mom and parents. Like I said, if they can tap into the teen's gifts by just observation and, when they're in their most natural state. So thank you for sharing that, Sarah. A lot of people your age, especially when you've started your own nonprofit foundations and such and have had this kind of experience, a lot of students will overlook college and think, "Oh, well, I've kind of already started. I should just go on my own." What made you choose to go to college and further your education to higher ed?
My mom and my dad were also college graduates, and that has always inspired me just because I know how many jobs that they worked to get themselves through college. And my mom has talked about college my entire life. And so to me, it wasn't necessarily an option. I wouldn't say they forced me to do anything because they want me to grow into my own individuality, but they are persistent about college degrees do get more job experience and it helps people when they go and get a job. Okay, you have a college degree. We know that you're diligent. We know that you're responsible enough to go to class on time. To It comes down to the little things for me. So me going and getting my master's, I've always wanted to do that since very little. I want to have all the knowledge that I can in the field that I'm going into. And so the more that I study it and the more that I learn, the more successful in my mind that I will be. And my cousin actually did not go to college and is making very good money. And so I'm not saying that you can't be successful if you don't go to college because that's not true. My dad actually does not use his degree. He's completely different career than what he was. But I will say that specifically for my plan, I know that if I'm going to run a business or if I'm going to be working with intelligent individuals, I really need to also know my stuff. And I want to know the business side of things, but I also want to know the ministry side of things. And so in my first university, I took ministry classes so I could learn how to care for people better and I can learn more about what Jesus looks like in leadership. And all of these things that I'm learning in college, I know that I couldn't have learned on my own. And learning from people that are doctors themselves or have degrees themselves, they know more than I ever could. And so just learning from people who are better than me makes me better also. And so I highly encourage college because it's just teaching me how to be an individual. Well, it's teaching me about myself. It's teaching me about my degree, and it's also teaching me about my future and what I want to go into.
I love that. Is there anything that you have gained in your college experience that you did not expect, but you're so grateful for?
I would say that I gained friendship, and I say that because I mean, people have told me my whole life, college are the best years of your life. You're going to have so much fun. And I listened to a Sadie Roberson podcast before college. And I remember sitting there and she was talking about college friends are going to be your bridesmaids and they're just the best people that you'll ever meet. And I didn't believe her because I have never had like really close friends in my journey through high school, elementary, junior high. Like people didn't really stay with me, and I never knew why. I always thought something was wrong with me, and my mom would try to tell me, "Oh, well, it's just because you're like the leader and your personality sometimes is very honest and people don't know how to handle that." And she would try to steer me to where I didn't lose my confidence in myself and who God made me to be. But when I listened to the podcast, I realized, well, I actually find friends. And oh, I have this fear inside of my heart that I don't think that will happen for me. I don't know if I'll have friendships because before then, I hadn't really had a best friend. And so when I went to college and the first day I met these three wonderful girls, and they are my best friends. And so I can't imagine my life without them. And the fact that I could live not knowing them before college was so weird to me. I can't imagine doing that again. And it's just really cool because I didn't expect to be so close. And actually, when I left my university in early December, it was very difficult for me. I know that saying goodbye is hard, but the friendships that I made are forever. And I was definitely not expecting that at all.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Sarah, thank you for sharing that. You don't know how many lives you could possibly be touching right now with your honesty because a lot of high school students struggle with that, of not finding their people, their friends, people who they could relate to. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like being in college, it allows you more of the freedom to be unique and different rather than fitting in. You're being yourself and trying to find a community that's like you. And there is. But college really opens up that opportunity that sometimes is not always found at the high school level.
I would agree with that. I think in high school, it's more about who's the prettiest or who's the smartest. And high school, I think, can be really cliche in the fact of you have to look like this and you have to be super fast in your sport or you have to fit in. I do believe that even if you're not the person in high school, you can go to college and still be confident in who you are. I would say that it definitely takes branching out because I am an introvert. And so going to college is scary because you don't know if you're going to make friends. And I would consider myself bad at making friends because I'm scared to talk to people sometimes. But I think just kind of forcing yourself to branch out, college people are so much more accepting because I feel like a lot of people have been bullied and are looking to fit in. And college gives you the opportunity to find people like you. And it's just a really beautiful experience if you lean on the people that you get to do life with, the people that you live with. It's just really cool how you bond.
I love that. What do you think is the best tip you can give for a college student, first year, especially college student, to find their people? Is there any tips you would recommend once they're there in their first year of college?
So my experience is a little bit different because I am a runner. And so I moved into school a week before everyone else. And so I have the automatic connection and family of the cross country team. And so I was very blessed in the sense that I am an athlete. But the people who are not an athlete, my best friend at home, actually, she was my one friend from high school, but she is not an athlete in college. And this was her first year this semester. And so what she did, I will speak from her experience because I am unaware in this area, but she would go to the club rush days. And what that is, if our listeners are unaware, it basically is all the clubs on campus. They have an event, and you can stop by their booths. And you can talk about what their club is about. And you can sign your name if you're interested and go to their meetings once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever the meeting is. And it's just a way for you to get connected on campus. So, my advice through her story would just be get connected as soon as you can. And that's through if you want to do intramural sports, which are not the athletic teams on campus, but they are athletic sports that are like recreational for fun. And so you can get involved with that. If you're a sports person, get involved with the choir that is on campus, take classes, do the club rush, and find a club that you really belong to. And so at Sam Houston, I don't know anyone because January will be my first day at that university. And so my advice to myself will be to get involved with the Cats for Christ or the Baptist Student Ministry because I know that fits my values. And so I really believe and have faith that God will provide the friendships for me and for anybody that's listening who wants to get involved. I would just like really encourage branching out because if you don't, college is very miserable and friends don't just naturally come to you. Like you have to make an effort on your own. And I know I'm kind of rambling on this subject, but my friend, he is a first year also this year. And so he has not branched out, and college has been really miserable for him. And so, even if it's hard for you to make friends, everybody is looking to fit in their first year. Everybody is looking to find their people. And so, it's almost easy if you try.
I love that. I love that. Let me ask you this because you were a runner in high school, right?
Yes, I was.
What what do you feel why do you think that you didn't connect as easily or as well in with your runners group in high school as quickly as you did in college?
I believe it's solely off of values. I think in college, specifically at Southeastern University, it is a small Christian college, and I am a Christian. And so naturally, we were runners. And so we clicked very fast. In high school, I was actually made fun of a lot for my faith because a lot of people did not have the same values as me. And so, naturally, if you get made fun of, you do not really connect easily with those people. And so in high school, it was harder for me because I went to two high schools as well. And so transferring into the new high school, I was the new person, the one who brought her Bible to school, the one who always told people Bible verses before the races and prayed with people. And so I stood out from everyone else. And not necessarily in a bad way, but because I was different, there was a lot of hatred and mockery. And so in college, it was easier at SEU to totally connect with people because they loved me for who I was. And I can't speak on anybody else's college experience as far as at a secular university as a Christian. I can speak on that after January when I go to Sam Houston, but I do believe, like I said a little bit earlier, I really have faith that God provides the friends and the people that you need at the time that you need it. And so for me, going into Sam Houston, being scared to meet new people who don't have the same values as me, I still believe that it will be good because I know God is with me.
Absolutely. And you said you have already found two organizations you're going to reach out to, correct?
Yes, I definitely am.
Okay, good. So maybe a tip for students is also to start proactively looking at the colleges that you're interested in and seeing what organizations and clubs they have. And I'm glad you're sharing this, Sarah, because this really makes me realize the importance of college selection beyond the degree that you're getting, making sure it's a right fit for your values, for your interests, the size of the campus, of the class. It really has a big impact.
Yes, the college selection process can be really stressful, but I I personally have really thrived from choosing correctly.
Well, let's transition it into sharing to us about your nonprofit. So tell us about your business and your nonprofit and what's the goal for each of them.
Both of them are in launching stages, and what I mean by that is that we are at ground level. So they are not in full-time operation, but we as in the foundation, have a vision and a hope for the future. And so I'm so excited to share with you about them because I do believe it's why I'm here on this earth and it's my calling. And so the first one is called Treasure Heart Foundation. It is based off of Matthew 6:21, which says, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And I started this foundation when I was 9 years old in third grade. And when I tell people that, they are kind of surprised because normally a third grader is not thinking about other people as much, I guess, as I did. And that's not to put myself on a pedestal at all. I just truly believe the Lord is at work at a really young age. And I'm not sure why, but we'll find that out in the future. But in the words of 9-year-old me, I just said that every kid is a treasure and they should be treated like such. And the reason that I said that is because I am an only child, and so I was pitching a fit at Walmart because I couldn't get a Barbie, and my mom told me that I should be grateful for what I have because there's a lot of kids who don't have parents that love them, they're in foster care, and I'm very blessed in the sense that I don't have to live that life, I don't have to worry about that, but I know a lot of people do, and so to nine-year-old me, I was shocked, and that's why I said every kid is a treasure, like, they should know that and I wanted them to feel what I had. And so I started raising money and donating things that the foster care facility needed. And that was towels, washcloths, Nike drawstring bags, school supplies, all the things. And I did this third through fifth grade. And then my 16th birthday, I wanted to make it a real foundation. And in order to do that legally, you have to get a 501(c)(3). And I had leftover money to pay for that from fundraising in the years prior to. And so I got the 501(c)(3). And so Treasure Heart is a legal foundation as of my 16th birthday. And that was in 2020. And so that was really exciting for me. And now that we are for real and legal. I want to transition from foster care to kids in need in general. And so the goal and the purpose, the big time dream, you would say, is to sponsor kids to go to camps. So whether that's band, church, running, whatever it may be. And this is the vision statement. I really want to help kids reach their dreams one camp at a time because I believe that if I show them that their dream and their values are worth it, then they can see the generosity of Christ through my actions. And that's the whole purpose of Treasure Heart is just helping kids in need like reach their purpose. And through that they can see generosity of Christ. And it's not about pushing a religion, but it's about loving other people and helping them reach what they want to reach. And that one is Treasure Heart Foundation. And the second one is Godly Leader Foundation. And this one is based off of Matthew 5:16, which is let your light shine before those so that they may glorify your Father in heaven. And this foundation I started in eighth grade. This was the very early stages of Godly Leader Foundation. And it got its 501(c)(3) going into my senior year. So when I was 17 years old. And this one, again, people always say, "Oh, God has blessed you so much. Like, how have you done all of this at just 17 years old?" And I don't know why this calling has been placed in my brain, but I love it. And I'm so excited to be the founder of this. And Godly Leader Foundation will have branches underneath it. And so, not necessarily different foundations, but just different avenues. And so, one of them is Godly Girl, and then Godly Guy, Godly Mom, Godly Dad, and then Godly like corporate, Godly Business, something along those lines. And the goal for that is to have conferences. And so, if any of our listeners are familiar with the Passion Conference, that is a huge Christian conference every year at New Year's in Atlanta, Georgia. And no, I'm not a advertisement for Passion, but I do think it is really cool. And so the goal for Godly Leader Foundation is maybe not be as big time, but I do want to have conferences. And they will have breakout rooms with Godly Girl, Godly Mom, Godly Dad, Godly Guy. And these breakout rooms will just provide a way for people of the same age, people of the same wave of life to meet in a room and talk about struggles because I believe there's something so powerful and from my experience alone, just something powerful about high school girls in a room together, talking about what they go through without junior high girls, without high school boys, without all the distractions, just sitting down and realizing that everybody's in this together. And a lot of people struggle with the same thing. But until people are opening up about that, nothing happens. People just pretend like they're cool. And nobody's cool, really. I mean, except Jesus. And so it's cool just to be able to be in a small group. And that's the heart and the purpose. So the conference would have a big keynote speaker, and the conference breakout rooms would just have some of our staff or other keynote speakers who are in those rooms. And that is the one godly leader is the one I want to open up church camps for. So the goal in the future would be to have godly girl church camps and godly guy church camps. And if we wanted to branch out, we could do family camps, and that would be through the moms and dads and the whole family. But the one that we are starting with is Godly Girl Foundation. And so I have written this semester, actually, past semester, I have written bylaws for Godly Girl, and I've written an employee handbook for Godly Leader Foundation. Took me 3 weeks, but I'm done with that. And so our next step would be getting a website up and getting ways for people to donate. And I have this huge vision, and I just cannot wait because we hope to partner with churches and camps around, or even schools around, to start small groups. Godly Girls small groups is what we're going to start with. And then those small groups will eventually be coming to camps. And so that is Godly Leader Foundation.
I love that. Is ministry something that runs in your family? Is there other family members that are actively involved in ministry, or were you just one of the first?
I would say that my grandmother has a really big influence in my life as far as loving the Lord. And I grew up in a Christian household. So I've always been around loving the Lord, loving other people. I've heard all of the Bible stories growing up, but I am kind of the first person to pursue ministry as a career. My mother, she has been in education and coaching. She actually coaches track and field. And so she's been in the coaching and teaching world for pretty much all of my life. My dad is in welding, so he does welding inspections. He's the chief, which is the boss over other welding inspectors. And so he does that. And my grandmother worked at the electric company. My grandpa did sawmill work back in the day, and so they didn't necessarily do it as a career, but it's always been a lifestyle that I wanted to maintain because of the influence of my mom and my grandma always encouraging me to pray, praying with me before bed, reading me Bible stories.
What about I know part of your mission is to reach out to young girls, right? At the beginning. And obviously the foundation is going to be called Godly Girls. What about students who have not found the Christian faith, who maybe just faith is not something that's even part of their upbringing? What would you say to them?
Godly leader and godly girl, I know the name can be a little deceiving, thinking that only godly people can come. And that is actually not the case at all. Our mission statement is growing intentional, responsible leaders through the love of Christ and community. And I personally believe that anyone is welcome. I would love to have people who have not grown up in a Christian household. I've mentored a couple of girls who did not grow up in a Christian household, and I that's actually one of my purposes in life. I feel like is to help inspire them, and so I would just, if I had to encourage them, just keep going one day at a time, and explore the things that you're curious about when it comes to faith. And even if you are not a faith driven individual at all, or if you're a little bit curious, I would ask questions and not be afraid of that. Because even if somebody were to come to a godly leader small group or a godly girl small group, I would never turn away a question just because you didn't grow up in a faithful household. I would actually treat that with compassion, and I would love to be able to answer questions, and I know that other people would as well. Not everyone, because not everyone deserves to be close to you, but I do think that people who are not faithful deserve a chance to be heard and to just to ask questions and to keep going and learning.
Being a Christian myself, I know how to find resources, right? If I needed to, if I wanted to for my children. But I feel like there are so many students out there that people are not tapping on just because their family is not Christian based, or they don't have, maybe they don't attend church, or they don't have really anyone else to follow. So I feel like those students are the ones that need you the most.
Oh, I appreciate that, and I would absolutely love to help anybody who did have questions. And yes, resources are slim because a lot of people think that you have to be Christian to go to a small group or you have to be Christian to go to church. And there's this terrible, terrible stereotype of around church people. And coming from church hurt myself, I have been there. But I really believe that just continuing to push when things are hard or when you face ridicule, when you face church hurt, not to just give up, not to just stop looking for resources because the longer you continue to try, like the more likely you are to get a yes because you may face no after no after no. It's just continuing to be okay with the no so that when you reach the yes, it's so much more satisfying and life giving. And like, even if you don't have the resources, there are people that do have them, and so just reaching out and being okay if they say no.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your journey with us. Is there something that I haven't asked you that you feel I should be asking you, or anything you'd like to share?
I would just like to share a little bit of encouragement that has helped me in my college journey, and it's really short, also really cliche, and that's just simply to be okay with being who you are and being who God made you to be, and I just really encourage the listeners and the college students to be okay with who you are and not letting other people change you unless it's to grow you. Change is good, but only if it's growing you and not diminishing who God made you to be.
I love that. I love that. Where can people connect with you?
So I would say reaching out through Instagram would probably be the best way. My foundation's Instagram is all lowercase godly girl, all one word, underscore 20. And treasure heart, all one word, treasure heart 20, because they were started in around 2020.
I love that. Perfect. I'll make sure to have those on the show notes. Thank you so much, Sarah, for stopping by here and just sharing us your career journey, your experience, your finding your own calling, and I wish you much success in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this so much.
Hey, friend. I wanted to hop in here and give a special thanks to Sarah for sharing her journey with us. If you related to her story or if you have some takeaways from this interview, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or send me an email at info@collegecareerready.org. Again, that's info@collegecareerready.org. Thank you for joining us, sweet friend. And as always, stay well, be present, and enjoy the journey. I'll talk to you next week. Hi, friend. Thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you share it with a friend. Share it with them right now, or even better, tag me so I can personally thank you for helping us build our community. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. Let's keep in touch and I'll talk to you next week. Adios.